Hi, my name is Bertha Barezzo, and today we're going to talk about law school advice. Hi, my name is Bertha Barezzo, managing shareholder at Barezzo & Barezzo, and today I'm going to share some advice, things that I would have done differently or maybe the same if I were still in law school. Number one top thing that I think most students don't appreciate when they graduate from law school is just how dramatically different your life is going to be the moment you start practicing as a lawyer. What we do day in and day out is all cerebral, thinking, solutions, solving problems, giving advice. Trust me, it's extremely time consuming as if any other physical labor job would be. It's not a 9 to 5. It can be for some lawyers depending on the practice, but if you're going to do litigation, meaning you're going to be in the courtroom, it's a job that requires a lot of passion, a lot of patience, but also a lot of time to learn the laws that you're practicing in, but also how to apply it. And so most days are filled with getting input from your clients in terms of what things they need done. And then your time, which is the most time consuming, is really analyzing that issue and finding what the right solution, analyzing the laws and taking the facts, which is what we learn in law school, applying it to the law that's applicable, and then giving the advice to your clients. And so all of that can sometimes be 10, 12-hour days where you're sitting and just thinking, the gears are going and just really trying to think of different possibilities. So just know that once you start practicing, your time now becomes tied to your clients and their needs and making sure you're meeting the deadlines that they have to solve the problems that they have. So how do you find your niche? Well, in my case, my niche found me. I wanted to do education law because I had a background as a teacher. I knew that I wanted to be in an area that I really enjoyed and was passionate about. And so when I was interviewing with law firms, I made it a point to tell them that I wanted to do education law. However, I was offered an opportunity in an employment firm and absolutely loved it. I didn't know I was going to love it. And I just so happened to take some employment discrimination classes in school. And so even though I had a little bit of an idea, it wasn't really until I started practicing and getting these real cases with real scenarios that tested me and tested whether I was going to be passionate about helping with these types of issues. So if you are fortunate enough to get a position in a firm in an area that you enjoy doing, then you're winning. But if not, that doesn't mean you can't have a successful practice, and you might end up falling in love with whatever law firm job. So I chose my law school primarily for geographic reasons. I knew that I wanted to stay in Florida because when you finish law school, lawyers must take the bar to be able to practice. I knew that being in a school where they talked about Florida laws was important, and also in a school that was just geographically close to my family. I was born and raised in Florida, and I knew I wanted to stay here. So when I started looking at law schools, my field of options were primarily located here in Florida. So landed on the best one, which was Stetson University. They gave me an amazing scholarship that I just couldn't pass, but also I was impressed by the curriculum and just the intimacy of the school. And I think the bonus was really being in St. Petersburg, Florida. So finding a good job, I think, is tricky in this sense. Being a lawyer is challenging and it's very stressful. And sometimes finding a good job for people may mean they're not stressed. I've always stressed to new lawyers that they need to understand or be at least very clear of what type of work scenario they're looking for, and go into your interview figuring out a way to ask the right questions that can give you as a prospective employee an insight as to whether being in that firm is going to fit your needs or your goals. So good can mean a lot of different things. For me personally, I just wanted to learn. I was a sponge, and the type of practice wasn't necessarily going to be a deal breaker for me. It was really, I wanted to be in a firm where I could learn as much as I could, get good mentoring, hands-on practice, and that's exactly what happened. As a new lawyer, the thing that I emphasize law students should focus on, not just while you're in law school, but post-law school, is reading. You're going to be reading, as you do in law school, hundreds and hundreds of pages, but also when you transition into the law practice, you continue to do that same level of reading cases, reading statutes, reading case law. And so making it as pleasurable as you can is key. The classes that I enjoyed the most in law school were the procedural classes. I'm very process oriented, and I learn best when I know this is step one, this is step two, this is step three. And so when I went to law school, the courses that I found myself more drawn to were the procedural, like civil procedure. Those are some of the classes that you take in your first year. And believe it or not, those classes, you carry the information that you learn throughout the lifetime of your practice. Because a lot of what we do is so procedural driven, you need to know how to do certain things within the practice that you're working in. And so I really felt a lot of satisfaction because I felt like I was getting some practical hands-on information when it came to learning the law. And then the other courses that I did really well in, even though I'm not practicing, is my tort classes. So those were the negligence or slip and fall, or those type of things, because the facts were very interesting and they were more relatable for me. Because those classes were much more relatable to me, I really enjoyed them. I think law school does a really good job giving students sort of a menu of different courses so that you can see what areas you like and what you don't. We take criminal law, we take constitutional law, we took employment discrimination, and so you really get an opportunity to learn not only the laws but just different fact scenarios. So looking back at my 20-plus year career and even law school, if I could have done anything differently, it would have been to enjoy my time as a law student as much as I possibly could. Being in law school, again, similar to being a lawyer, is extremely stressful, and there's a lot of long nights and early days. But things have never been the same after law school. Once I started practicing, like I said, your life changes, especially if you're extremely busy in your practice. You're giving real advice to clients, and so that comes with a level of stress as well. And so enjoy while you can. So one of the memories that I have as a young lawyer was when I first graduated, I worked at an insurance defense firm, and being in an insurance defense firm requires a certain skill set when it comes to keeping track of your time, making sure that you're efficient with your cases, also making sure that you're moving the case and it's just not sort of lingering there. I didn't realize at the time that those basic skills or those skills were really a foundation of how I was going to practice for the next 20 plus years. And so a lot of my habits today and a lot of the things that I do really go back to what I learned as a young lawyer all those things that you don't necessarily pick up in law school that I learned, and it really set me up for my practice for the long term, but also, and more importantly, it's helped me build my own law firm because I understand the business model now, and I understand what it takes for a firm to not just be successful, but to be able to last for a long time. And so make sure you're getting some practical hands-on skills that can benefit you for the rest of your practice. So if you're a law student, especially if you're a law student at Stetson University, click on the link below. Sometimes we're looking for interns, and you could be our next intern. Thank you for watching this video and hearing my advice for law students.